We are indeed, and I'm excited to be checking out this matchup, folks. This is for playoff seeding. Now, the implication here is if ENCE win this game rather, and Big lose, then they've got the option to get overtaken should Heroic win their game against OG, and it would put Big down into 4th place in the group where they're likely going to be facing off against Astralis based on the seeding in the first round of playoffs. So there's a lot to play for here in terms of seeding. It could really make a big difference. Alu going to get started on a good note. We're starting on Dust2 as well, which is going to make things somewhat interesting. It's a strong map for both teams, so we should see some fireworks, and we're seeing this already. Tabson's wrapped through spawn. He's found one. He's looking for more. They're chasing him down to eliminate the threat, but there's only so much work they can do. He's got to reload, and that will trigger his death, but they brought it down to a 3v3, and that bomb was spotted and dropped, so a lot of information early on here for Big. Tizian, if he goes through this door, this is so bold. Alu's waiting to punish. Tizian wants to bait the peak.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't need to be giving away any frags at the moment. As you said, just trying to obtain the info at least if they do cross back over towards short and try and, of course, take it that direction. Because right now they have two who are looking to flank out through the lower tunnels. They actually get spotted. And with that, you see, of course, both players just being forced out into mid, where finally Tizian, his patience will pay off. And the lurk from Sunny there at top mid, not going to be able to do too much apart from another frag there towards Xanthars. So Big, they managed to pick up that opening pistol round. Apologies, was just doing some, fixing up some quick production things there in the beginning. But yeah, no bomb plant or anything, of course, for ENCE, so we'll see whether they actually want to just take that full eco, of course, to come out with the guns as early as they can. Usually going to be the gold, but of course the issue is if you're going to be taking the full eco here in the second round, although you'll get the weapons in round number 3, sometimes you're lacking a bit in nades.
Okay. I think we're just going to have a bit of a faster play. Utility already in to take control of that long house. They've got space by the mid doors, and it does seem like Big's going to give them a bit of a leash, at least early on in the round, to set up here. Towards Catwalk, but they're ready for the hit once it does come over, and that is indeed going to be the hit. So we're going to get to see Searson's form early on here with the Scout as they come peering around the corner. Somewhat trickier sometimes with the Scout against these unarmored pistol players just because it takes 2 shots. He's, of course, got teammates for the support. There's the first tag. One player in towards mid. Got to be focused on the Catwalk, guys. There's damage done, but it's going to be up to his teammates to clean it all up. Searson now quite low, will have to back out, but it's Townsend who wants to get things done. Alu going to secure the bomb plant, so successful round for ENCE. That can't be denied.
Yeah, I mean, considering they didn't really put any investment in, getting that extra money from the bomb plant, that's going to be a big help, and it pretty much negates what I had mentioned when I said, of course, that going into round 3 you can lack nades a little bit. Now they'll have pretty much everything they could ask for, and kind of the fact that they didn't get any kills could work out in their favor, because I don't know if we're going to see Big really upgrading those weapons. We'll see what they decide to do, but of course having a couple of MP9s, a FAMAS, and a Scout, it could maybe be worthwhile to get another M4 in play. Or we could see them maybe try something a little bit crazier to try and actually find early openings with those weaker weapons and try and at least give themselves something to work off of.
We have the immediate op peek down mid. We, of course, do. Here's the cross. No shot yet. There's someone checking it, though. Searson gets the better of him. Alu couldn't see the head above the smoke, and Searson will collect a skull early on. So heck of a way to start out your bonus round situation. Sergey trying to chase this kill back down on Catwalk. But they're going to get away with it. They've got the information now, and there's a crunch coming in from tunnels. This is how they're going to compensate for the guns. It's going to work out perfectly. Xanthars takes a body. Might be able to get the upgrade to the rifle in a little bit, but he's being a bit timid about it. There comes the gun upgrade. No, maybe it got blasted right out the tunnels. Keto getting a bit too bold back through spawn. But look at how much control they have over the map. They know there's no one in towards B. They're doing damage on this player top mid, who they've pinned into the corner. Yumpy goes down. And this is a catastrophe for ENCE. They haven't even had a chance to even think about getting into their execute. Before they got anywhere close to it, they've been shut down and dismantled. And Ariel's all alone here towards long. He goes down with no possibility for anything. Even if he had gotten a kill, there was no way for them to defend the trade. And it's going to be a massive round for Big. That is such a shutdown. You mitigate all of the extra economy they got from the bomb plant, and you just slap them silly in their first gun round.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was expecting there. I said we'd have to see the aggression from them to try and steal away a couple kills early to even things up a little bit because of the firepower lacking, and it works out way better than I ever could have thought. The opening kill, of course, from Sirison on the scout. That's kind of what made ENCE start to feel the pressure, and it wasn't let up on. Back onto the pistols again here now for ENCE. They have a decent amount of work, to be fair, with all those deagles and Kevlar across the board, but there's not much in terms of the nades, so it really is going to be them hoping that Big will allow for them to have a couple chances, to give them over a couple chances, rather, for some openings. And I wouldn't imagine Big are really going to take too many risks in this round. They should be pretty much the exact opposite of the previous. They can afford to play it much, much safer, and they're even retaining pretty much all of their utility here early, including those mollies, which will be very useful as the round moves on, of course. But yeah, I seen someone in the chat a second ago mention it. Keto, he turned off VSync. Did you see that?
I did. I did. He's been playing with it for like a year, he said.
Just how?
Oh man. Well, it's like now. It's taken off the training weights. You know, he just wanted to get to a certain level with limitations. Now the limitations are gone. He's going to be God mode. He's going to ascend. So I'm afraid. If I'm ENCE and I see that tweet, I'm in fear for my life anytime Keto's on the other side. It's gonna be spicy. The one potential vulnerability is the same thing they exploited in their Glock round, which is the fact that a scout watching this angle on car, it's somewhat trickier to actually kill them before they can get this bomb plant. And that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna pressure it again. The scout is still out. Sirison will connect on one. That bomb's dropped. They've got to recover it now. The nades are going in. There's another kill for Sirison. They've done what you cannot do against a scoped gun here. They've bunched up. They've slowed down. That bomb will be planted. I don't think this can be denied. So success on that front. But now it's about how much damage can they do? Apparently quite a bit. Alu and Sunny collecting lives all onto Alu now. Has a bit of armor. He would like one more kill. That's not to happen. Not to be. But it is a very successful round for ENCE. They get the bomb planted. They get a bit of damage. But all this is going to be for naught if now, when the guns come out, when the rubber hits the pavement, they can't steer the course. They can't get to the finish line. This next round is where we want to see them come alive on Dust2. Or we start to get a little bit concerned that maybe Big are just going to go ahead and blank them out on this first map. It was ENCE's map pick as well.
Yeah, I was going to say we should probably touch on the veto in a moment. Yeah, it's not quite out of control for ENCE yet, but they really need to pick it up here in this round. As you said, it being their map choice, they've had some great wins on it this month alone here in Pro League, taking out OG, G2, and also Navi, but it's not like Big are slouches here on Dust2, and they knew that when they were picking it, so certainly a risky one. Dust2 in general as a map choice, I think, certainly is one that can be a little bit more risky than you would hope for. But here we go, back onto the guns as we said. This is when ENCE need to get around on the board. And it looks like Big are looking to once again get a bit more aggressive, although Sirison needs to be careful. The smoke for now, of course, is going to be blocking that off. But he is going to be pretty quickly forced back off by the molly. So falls back, takes the angle on short. He'll look to just, of course, take one shot and then fall off once they actually do push forward for that control. And it looks like he'll probably find contact pretty soon, including actually the bomb carrier coming in this direction. See if he can manage to find one and fade away. Just takes the shot and is forced to back off with that. So yeah, short control for ENCE. They still have 1 minute and 10 seconds. Plenty of time to actually try and work off of this, and have now managed to even creep a player out mid.
This is where things get interesting. Short control hasn't really... I mean, they've had it in multiple rounds, right? Mostly with the pistols. It hasn't gotten them much. But now Alu in towards mid, that's a huge kill to find. Tabson now dropped. The Guardian of mid out. You can smoke out that spawn and go for a bit of a wrap on towards B. That doesn't seem to be what they want. And look at this control in towards the longhouse for Tizian. This is going to be interesting. He's not going to win the fight, though. Aerial, big kill. Now the pressure is on for Sirison, and repositioning at the wrong time. He'll be caught. That's going to be the site taken. That's going to be the bomb planted. That's almost certainly going to be a save already for Big, and ENCE are on the board.
And in a perfect fashion, we always say how when you're going to get into, when you're going to finally start getting into the game, ideally it can't be with 1 or 2 players surviving, leaving you down on a worse spot in the following round. Living with all 5 here, it's perfect. Maybe Big could consider trying to pick up an exit or 2, but ideally living with everyone, living with Keto and Xantars right now would be ideal. They have plenty, of course, to rebuy back in, but having a little bit of money left over afterwards also would be a pretty big help. Well, let's see. Xantars may actually be given a bit of an opportunity here. There is, I believe, Alu there moving through the spawn, but with the op, he won't go any further. So yeah, looking like it should just be a bit of a standoff here for the last few seconds with that ENCE, of course. Welcome to the board. And as we had mentioned, it's not quite out of their control yet. If they manage to pick up this round now, chain together the couple with that breakdown the economy of Big, suddenly they'll be looking at a 3rd round, and then that next gun round could maybe even allow them to leap into the lead. And with that, of course, start really taking the control of the game for themselves. But, as we mentioned, it does rely on them now being able to replicate that previous round's performance and putting together another.
I'm curious to see the adjustment from Big here. They gave a lot of space in towards mid, and that wound up biting them. Interesting that ENCE, you know, they get the picks in mid, but they don't actually really exploit it. There's, oh my goodness, that smoke blooms just in time. Thought Alu was about to collect a life as they cross the mid doors. Now it's going to be pressure in towards long early on. You've got Tizian up by the blue dumpster. Had support early on from Tabson, but it is going to be Tizian to lock it down. He gets one. He's looking for more. Nades come through. There's the support. You got to get the heck out of here. Tizian will burn a bit, but he's done his work. He secured so much space for them. Sergey's coming looking in mid. He's been spotted. Information is here for Big.
I don't mind the attempted early front control, but maybe sending the bomb first was a little bit of a problem. Because, yeah, now it's lost out on long. They've even dropped another player over towards short. And this 3-on-5 is looking pretty difficult for ENCE. They're probably just going to have to wait out that long smoke and then see if they can take control of the bomb together. But the issue is, Big, they've already rotated over 4 players, literally just leaving Keto on mid so that he can at least give them a bit of info if that short push comes in. And he knows that's the case now. Fallen, Alu able to pick one off. And I mean, this could still get a bit dangerous because they pushed everyone up over towards long, so they should be able to get a bit of control here around A. And at that point, maybe have a chance for Alu to pick off another player or so for them to start pushing forward. But we'll see. Yampi right now looking to be the one to lead the way.
They've actually moved Alu back in towards mid because they assumed there'd be a player CT, which is interesting because if he was on the platform right now, you're right, it would apply so much extra pressure towards Big. They have decent positions to defend from A, even when they take the site. But this is interesting. I don't think ENCE is going to go for it. They're going to save. Wow. That's a conservative call. I mean, it makes sense in that they've got a lot of value in their kit right now, and they'll certainly be able to buy into the next one. But they do not fancy this retake of long one bit. They're not going to contend with Big. They're not even going to think about it. They're not even going to take pot shots from the site. They're going to go ahead, punt the ball, wait for the next round, and see if they can have a better go of it if they don't immediately dump the bomb out of long door.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the first thing that they make sure they don't do once again. I don't mind if they were to try and look for the long control, just ensure that the bomb isn't on that first player, ideally not on the second either, so that you're actually allowed to try and send someone out for the trade at that point, of course. And actually, Alu does have a pretty good spawn right now for along with the AWP, so yeah, that's where he is going to take it. We're going to see even Tizian alongside Tabson, I believe. Actually, no, Tizian alone going to be up close on the corner. Flash goes over, Molly as well. Alu tries to get the pop shot right there while blinded, but immediately just backed off by the Molly. But a kill had come in the meantime. Yampi going down. Where exactly was that? I didn't even catch it.
I think he was up mid, but I'm honestly not sure as well. I mean, you've got Searson now playing towards long. I guess it could have been an aggressive cat pick. I was focused on that long fight as well.
Yeah, my actual game doesn't have the hood on because we're using the custom hood, so I couldn't see.
This is going to get interesting, though. ENCE once again backed into a corner. Pressure applied. They will take this catwalk control, but as we've seen before, Big are comfortable giving it over. Tabson here by the jump up. On this nade. Oh, that could be a meaty nade. Not really. That is my biggest disappointment as a caster, is every time I think someone's about to lob a nade that's going to land right in someone's lap and do 1,000,000 damage, and then it's like
2.
10 damage. You get 10. You get 2. Ugh. I like seeing nice HE lineups, Dean. It's just what makes my day.
Yeah, the lineups a lot of times are pretty nice. It's just you don't quite get the dividends you would hope from it. I'll have to focus back on the round now for the moment, though, because the Mollies are beginning to swarm all over that A-bomb site, but the actual push itself being pretty quickly destroyed. Tizian, Tabson, and Searson, they all hop in for a piece of the pie. Alu again being the man who gives some hope for ENCE. But this time around, it was when the rest of his teammates were already gone, so I'm sure it wasn't really hyping up anyone too much. 6-1 for Big. ENCE are having a very difficult start here on their own map choice. Of course, Nuke then coming up next as the pick of Big, which is one that ENCE play a little bit, but honestly their stats aren't too great on it. And then if needed, Inferno as the decider. Again, a map that for ENCE isn't all that great, so the whole map veto here, Dust2 is the one that they need to be winning. It's not like they can't win either Nuke or Inferno, they definitely can, but they want to be bouncing off they want to be going off the back of a person win on their own map choice here, ideally. But here we go, early long control going to be found now, friends. Is this the first time maybe that they haven't actually been contested around this area? Although they are still going to just push up through the smoke apparently, so Searson's given a pretty easy kill. Molotov's out in the corner, sure, but with the smoke down, he can escape back into the spawn easily. And in the meantime, Xantares decides to keep forcing the issue and extends that advantage. Oh, not for long. Got wall banged and then naded.
I mean, that's quite fortunate, I think, for ENCE. I'm not quite sure of their decision-making here. They're getting very bold at awkward times through utility. I like this position from Tizian. Flashbang for him, and there we go. That's the bomb down. That's the round over. Once again, it's left to Alu to just kind of do what he may, and what he may is not much. He got the only kill of the round, and it was off of a wall bang and an HE through the mid doors. Big are up to 7-1, and look, Dust2, we all know Dust2. Dust2 is about aim battles, it's about fragging out, and right now, there's not a lot of aim battles being won for ENCE. You have Sergey hasn't gotten a kill yet, you've got Yumpy and Ariel on one apiece. Alu is getting kills, but he's so often getting these kills when the round's already out of hand as well. This is not looking good for ENCE at all. The Finnish squad just do not seem to have the firepower to contest with Big on this map.
Yeah, it's been Tabson and Sirison so far that have been too much for them to handle. This time over on B, though, it actually goes pretty well in the initial trades. Sunny wanted to try and fight in towards tunnels, and immediately being dropped, and there we go, Yampi with the entries. Xantares dispatched up, and he decides to just keep on swinging out to the power gap even. That Tabson had been trapped around the window at that point. They isolate the fight and end the round pretty much already. I would be surprised if Big don't just call for a save here. Maybe they can go for one or two exit frags, because obviously knowing the economy of ENCE is so low. But you don't really have too high hopes of getting a 2-on-4 retake on B, so it doesn't make too much sense to actually attempt it, especially when you have that op in play and then an AK as well that you can't buy up, as well as a pretty decent amount of nades.
I don't know, it makes complete sense to pull the ripcord. It almost reminds you of the first round that ENCE won, where they rapidly took A. They got that mid pick and then took A, and then we had the 2 players save immediately from Big. It's kind of the mirror image since it's towards the other side. But that is, I think, the first B side we've seen taken so far for ENCE. We haven't even really seen a split to B. We saw that one pick in towards mid, but then they haven't really taken advantage of mid control yet. It's been very much a focus on long, very much a focus on catwalk, and the play in towards A. So maybe this will dictate a bit of a change for ENCE. But as we've come to expect from Big, the adjustment should be coming. That round, obviously, you get one pick off of your op on site. Xantares can't get anything done with the AUG, which is a bit of a tricky gun to play from that tight of an angle over by Carr. He was presumably thinking to use that more for if they went for the mid to B split. He'd use that through the double doors. But whatever it is, we might see a bit more of a focus on towards the B site. As I say that, neither side's going to focus on B this round. It's going to be a Palooza once again. The worst carnival.
Yeah, I feel more like I'm watching a Vertigo or something with only one bomb site. Oh, Sirison. Does he realize there's a player up close? Actually, probably good he didn't, because he ends up looking in the correct position to find Yampy popping around the corner. Molly instantly put down as well. A bit of damage being taken, sure, but they're happy enough to take that man advantage, fade back away, and concede the short control. Because it hasn't really been all that useful for ENCE so far. I think they realize that. They want to actually try and bring it over towards B this time. They've got themselves out mid at least. They have the smoke down in the spawn, but Tabson doesn't really seem to care. It's not a wall. He can sprint straight through it. A couple of headshots being obtained. The smoke on B as well going to be a third division as they come through. And Keto and Xantares, they don't even break a sweat.
That second shot from Tabson, the transfer was a thing of beauty, and he's having himself a phenomenal game. We expect it from this man, but he's 15-5, and that still deserves kudos. We got to point that out. He's got 15 kills through 10 rounds, a kill and a half a round. Quite the numbers for the man himself, Tabson. So they went for the B split. My words. It's early in the morning.
They tried it. Yeah, no, it's okay. We'll lay you away with it. I'm sure you haven't been awake too long.
They thought about it, but it was very haphazard, right? It was a little bit, it was definitely the second option. They get rebuffed towards A, and it's like, all right, I guess we're going for the B split. If they get one of those kills, maybe it works, but Tabson coming back through that smoke just really shut them down and towards mid. Once they don't have that prong of the assault, there's not much you can do. Now this round, we've got the op, but we've also got a deagle. It's not ideal. Sunny's going to take some space. That would be a huge kill. Come on, Sunny, get it. No. Sitting in a Molotov way too long on that spray. You really had to hit the first shot, and the first shot was not available. So it's a 2v5 already off the bat. I could even see a justification for Alu saving this off here. They've got the AK as well. What are you going to do? You're starting to run out of rope here. You're starting to run out of time. This would put Big onto 9 rounds in the first half. Oof.
Yeah, it is starting to get out of control at this point. We were trying to be optimistic earlier when it was 4-0. We were like, yeah, they can bounce back. They can definitely manage to still get into this one. They were like, they got one, got traded back on. We're like, okay, yeah, they just need to come back now in the next gun round. But at this point, we need to be like, yeah, no, they need it right now. But as you said, saving is definitely something that is being considered right now from Alu and Yampi. Still 35 seconds remaining though, so it looks like they do want to take a bit of a peek around A and see if they can find that open forward. Nade unfortunately going to make things a little bit more complicated. Every single bit of damage at this point is making it harder for the two players to actually recover the situation, but they have managed to deal out of it themselves. Yampi, 2 towards long. And in theory, that would have given them room to plant. Unfortunately, though, Alu had been flanked out on short already, and yeah, that smoke just ends up working against Yampi as well. So there it is, 9-2. They get a couple of kills, sure, but now they don't really have enough for their own full buy, unfortunately. If they had got the bomb down, it would have been perfect. They wouldn't have really been lacking anything then, other than maybe a few nades. But yeah, instead, they're going to be left on pistols and Kevlar once again, meaning we should see Big being able to find double digits.
This is such a flat performance to come out the gate on your own map pick. I mean, just so flat. They're not really doing much. Here we're just going to see a B rush. Rush B, don't stop. The classic. Searson's going to hit one. Now Xantares should feast. He's actually got teammates to support. They're not even going to let him see more than one player. The ops don't let him. That was a perfect opportunity for Xantares to pad his stats and get a multi-kill, and his teammates are like, nah, bud, we got you.
When
we got you. Don't worry about it.
Barely sees anyone on a B rush, you know you have a good hold going.
Yeah. Through the mid door. I mean, through those flip doors. What a difference that's made for the B hold. Such a huge change.
Yeah, and for the retakes as well, of course, allowing it to be a little bit easier to take the initial challenge in towards tunnels and such, and even just to get nades in. So yeah, it's very helpful for both sides. And we've seen it, of course, pay off there in that previous round. 10-2. ENCE, obviously, it wasn't a full investment from them, but they would have wanted a small bit. And yeah, this is where they need to pull it back. Tabson, though, ran up mid. Kio's waiting in the lower tunnels with the Yop. And yeah, Sergey decides he wants to take the peek, and you might even see Alu attempt to follow up. At least does toss in the flash beforehand. That takes his opponent off of the angle, but I was gonna say the timing there could have been awkward. It looked like Keo was tempted to re-peek, and he may even do so now. But with the 5-on-3 here, they should probably be looking to just fall back off and with that concede the advantage. They're looking really good in the 5-on-3. They really don't need to be forcing the issue anymore, but it seems like the confidence is just so high that they don't care. I mean, Tabson's gone back up to the top of mid now. We could maybe even get the counter spam, but it's not really worthwhile, of course, to give away his position. Alu did catch one on B, but just didn't expect Xantares still up close as well. So yeah, I mean, this round is looking pretty much done already with Tabson back in the spawn. They are watching for, I believe, or at least were for a moment. Now moving out towards long, it means they aren't really going to be aware of how quick that flank could be coming in.
And he knows. So it's just a question of continuing to hold on. Because they're going very fast into this hit. He's going to get a smoke to give himself a little bit of extra space. It is the molly. This is all designed to just allow Tabson to come around. And Tabson does exactly that. Seriously, even got a long-range Tech-9 kill, because why not? The confidence is oozing here. It's actually absurd. They had an op pushed into lower tunnels instantly off the start of the round. And that's a great way that Big are mixing up the pace and constantly keeping ENCE guessing. They're hiding these ops all over the place. Some rounds are super passive. Some rounds they're hyper aggressive taking that ground. And by the time, look, like 10 seconds into the round, you've got an op in lower, you've got Tabson pushing top mid, the round's over. Even before those 2 kills come in, there's so much control for the CT side that it can just completely dictate the pace to ENCE. And that seems like it's going to happen more often than not. This round, we don't have much utility. We've got the rifles at least. ENCE have to get on the board. We've been saying that, but we're come to the last 2 rounds of the half. It's 11-2. Big are battering ENCE. They're looking like a punching bag who can't fight back. It's like one of those pop-up clown toys. They're just taking a beating.
Yeah. I mean, even at this point, 4 wouldn't be enough for ENCE. They'd still need a fantastic comeback on the second half. So yeah, it's looking pretty dire right now. Can they manage to salvage anything at the end of the half is the question. Xantares, okay, actually is going to get taken down. Wasn't sure if there was another player around mid or not. The answer was no. We knew the rest was moving in through tunnels. And as you can see, Big are, of course, now aware of that information. Tabson being able to even catch Yampi jumping up. Sergey hasn't even pushed out of the yet, still waiting for a flanker to come in. They will not manage to pull it initially back into the 2-on-2. So hectic. Every single round is just been incredibly hectic. As Tizzy and ENCE it. 12-2. ENCE, yeah, they're going to be salvaging together what they can in this final round here to hopefully come out with 3 rounds on the half. At this point, I mean, 2 or 3, it doesn't. I don't feel like it's going to make all that much of a difference, but it does help. It does help.
They're getting beat badly.
Yeah.
That round we saw the limitations of the lack of utility. If they have a smoke for the door cross, they're immediately on the site. They've got the plant quickly. Instead, they have to hesitate, try and group up, and then cross together or figure something out there. And that allows enough time for the retake to get in before they even have the plant down. So, massively played from Big. Let's see. Here's what I want out of this last round. All I want Sergey to get a kill. That's all I want. If Ariel gets a second kill, all the better. But Sergey, you got to crack that donut. No one wants to go a half without a kill. It's a brutal way to go. He's got 14 ADR, I think. No kills. They need Sergey on the board. He's a brilliant young player. At one time was being talked about as the next prodigy in CS. We've got to see some impact. I'm not going to be Ariel. He will have to content himself with 1 kill in the half. That's all he's going to get, all he's going to have opportunity for. And Keto, he's just going to wait as long as possible. He's shooting fish in a barrel here. This is very bold from Tizian. Out towards long. Yumpy on the other side. Oh, this kill could dictate the round. Yumpy's going to come through. Perfect timing for Tizian to back off of it. The standoff is huge. And meanwhile, Searson is waiting to feast on these players coming around. Catwalk, he's done it again and again. Sunny's the next victim. He is terrifying here. He staked his claim, planted his flag, and they're just getting nothing on A. Nothing, Dean. They haven't connected a point of damage here. They are getting beat, battered, and bullied, and Sergey will finish with the donut. Not a kill in that last round for ENCE. Nothing is working for them as we hit a 13-2 in dominant fashion for Big.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to put it, really. ENCE were not able to come alive at all in the half, and hopefully we'll be able to see Sergey pick it up as well as we head onto the second half of this map. But guys, we're going to send it over to a quick break. We'll be back in around 3 or so minutes with the second half of the map. Alright guys, welcome back as we hop into the second half here between Big and ENCE. And yeah, it goes without saying, ENCE are going to have to take it to a whole new level here on their CT side if they want to have a chance of making this comeback happen. An incredibly long road ahead of them, whatever sort of cliche you want to go with, but yeah, no, this is going to be so difficult. And it all starts with this pistol round.
It does. Now, we talked about what was missing. Well, there's going to be a duel here in towards mid. This is bold, and boldly, Xantares is going to check it. He's got the first kill. His P250 ringing and singing. And they've done a ton of damage as well onto Sunny. This is not a great start for ENCE. They're already getting pushed back. They've still got this control in towards Cat, and Ariel's going to be able to turn that into a kill on the player coming lower. So maybe something to work with as they continue to clear out. Big shot for Sergey. He's cracked his donut in the first round of the second half. We needed to see this guy turn things around, and he has done so. So nicely done indeed. And it seems like ENCE might be changing their fortune, might be changing the winds in their sails, at least here on the pistol. Tizian going to be left to do what damn she may. A bomb plant, a distant hope, and he will, in fact, face a dirt nap. I was going to say, we've highlighted what was going wrong for ENCE in the first half, but we got to talk about what was going right for Big. 23-6 for Tabson in the first half, 14-3 for Searson. He only died 3 times. They were both above 100 ADR in that first half. Incredible performance. Everyone else on the team was playing well, but these two, a cut above. Lights out. But maybe the Finnish squad's going to be able to find some star performances of their own. We know they need it, team.
Yeah, I mean, they have players capable of it, but so far throughout this map, none of them have given us. Sergey especially is doing nothing what we expected from him. There's a bit of time, maybe. It's a best of 3, of course, so it's not the end of it if they do end up losing Dust2. But as we mentioned, this is their map choice, and Nuke coming up next shouldn't be any easier for them. But yeah, in this round anyway, up against the force buy from Big, already starting things off with an opening frag, and now at this point being able to just take things a little bit slower. They shouldn't struggle too much, but a couple of scouts and with that a couple of deagles as well still in play. So there is a chance for Big to at least try and output some damage. Their goal really will be to at least keep that damage on even if they aren't able to win the round, just so as soon as they do get the full buyout that they have a chance then to try and break ENCE down, which they cannot afford to have happen at this scoreline because it'd pretty much be then Big running over the finish line. Look at this though, already one player crossed over towards Gandalf. There's actually one of the scouts as well. The flashes were perfect, but not good enough for the shot to be connected apparently. At least not initially. Eventually one running through there from Sunny, but it's just trades back and forth. And as you would guess, that's not really ideal for ENCE, but eventually they will manage to handle the situation. Yeah, again though, way too close. That's 3 frags coming in from Big. I said that was going to be their goal, to try and get 2 or 3. They managed to do just that. They forced now a lot of reinvestment out of ENCE. The thing is though, they should be looking at an eco here on the side of Big, so this is ENCE's chance to make up for that one.
Yeah, without the bomb plant, it's a little bit of the punch taken out of the round. And that was all due to the nades coming in. So perfect timing on the nades, being tossed back over to deny the planter moving towards site. He had a lot of health, so he ate both of those straight on and then just obliterated him. Could have been a much more dangerous round. As it is, Alu going to deny the tunnel control early on, make some extra money for the Opper. 1,200 in the bank in his back pocket to perhaps paper over some of the cash they had to spend in the previous, and it's clear that that's what they want to do. Alu's just going to go hunting because he needs to make some money. Cash money right now. Payday loan, not going to happen. Keto denies. He'll take possession. Well, not quite of that MP9. Won't be able to confiscate it. Hand them a receipt. But it's going to be damage done. This nade might finish one off. Searson somehow limps away from the impact site of that crater. It's all on Sunny, though, just to clean him up. And as I say that, Ariel even comes in to assist. Says, yeah, it's all right. You don't need a 2K. I'll take care of this for you. He did actually get a 2K in the round. Whatever it is, ENCE off to a hot start here. Words are hard, Dean. Already taking more rounds than they had in the first half.
Yeah, and doing so, I mean, in that one anyway, pretty easily, only losing Alu. He's not going to be too worried considering he wanted to come out onto this op as early as possible anyway, but they've actually gone for the double op setup here early between Yampi and Alu, so that's a bit of a scary scary premise for Searson to be facing up against. But right now, I was going to say he is actually holding the correct position around those mid doors. Elsewhere, we actually see Ariel picking up a frag. Over towards Long, I believe that was. Big trying to get a player out early on. Yampi ends up eventually taking that peek in towards Suicide just as Searson decides that he wants to move out. And that was very unfortunate because he goes down, Tabson then gets wallbanged down to low health. And yeah, this very important round so far for ENCE seems to be going well. Okay, Xantares has pulled one back. there's only, at the moment, Sergey over on the B side of the map, and he hasn't been having the greatest game. Unfortunately, though, no smoke to cover off that CT spawn. It means they have to pretty much challenge as they go to crossover, and they're going to find that challenge indeed. Aludir gets both of the remaining frags. As ENCE reached 6, that first gun round, it was a big moment, an immense one.
I'm seeing a couple of the flaws that we saw from the ENCE side maybe creeping in here for big individual plays made. I mean, we're looking at it, the player who drops down from catwalk. I think he was trying to really time it so that he'd be coming in with his players coming through mid, and that timing was just off. So he winds up dropping, dealing with 2 players. He gets a kill, but then immediately gets traded with no chance to really do further. And then his teammates come through mid. We saw an individual play out long with no one behind him. Yumpy's going to get a kill down mid. Nicely done early on with that AWP, and look at how far forward Sunny is. Sunny wants to make some cash, and he is about to do so. They are crops right for the picking. He's only actually going to take the first. Thought he might wait around. Build out a little bit of time. Now he's got a little bit of the threat of getting wrapped since he is in that dark position. And there's going to be the tap, the wrap, and the tap, and take a dirt nap. He's out of it. Tag comes through. Alu, was that through the pole? Because it did not kill the unarmored Searson. But whatever it is, he'll limp away.
Yeah, it kind of stops him from being too effective, though, with that retrieved MP9 when he only has 14 health. So I think he'd be pretty happy with that situation. Ariel's going to be given a couple of fights against those Kevlarless opponents over on long, and although Alu is blinded, he doesn't know that player is beginning the crossover. Fantastic shot by Xanthars. That's an op now that he can potentially pick up. So the first catch a player rotating up through the CT spawn, but now he's forced to take that fight on towards long. But here we go, the op. Can he find anything else? No. Big fat no. If he had gotten even one more kill at that point, it would have been some pretty good damage again. But at this point now, ENCE, they are beginning to build up some money of their own. So they're getting kind of into a slightly more secure position. But of course, there's still quite a few rounds now until they're actually able to start making it, score-wise at least, look doable. As Big, again, are looking at the buy, of course.
And here's the thing as well, when you're reliant on the double op, as we've seen, as we saw Big running in their own half, things can get out of whack pretty quickly. So they've got 1 round in the tank, perhaps no more than that, though. So this is the big test. This is where we start to see things get interesting. Big really hamstrung themselves in these first few rounds by going for some bolder forces and not necessarily having the success they were hoping for. But now they've got the guns. They've got all the utility in the world. They've got that op on Searson. Here's where we get to see what they can do, what their actual game plan is, what the master plan should it be for this squad. They're going to take some cat control. There's a lot of utility coming in. But by that same token, look at how little utilities left for ENCE. They've got no smokes. They've got a single Molotov, a bevy of flashes, and 1 HE. So this could actually be very problematic because there's still a ton of smokes, mollies, flashes, what have you for Big. The pressure is going to be severe. That's the first smoke thrown out. Alu's going to be denied his vision. He's got to fall away. That was a boost up as well. The HE looked like it might be well placed, but actually doesn't find anyone. It's now Big. I've drawn out so much of the remaining utility. Sergey, with this molly, has the only really effective piece still available. Double smoke in mid. That's a little bit awkward, but it is going to cover off one of the boost-up spots. Yumpy has a chance to really deny this before it gets started. It's a split on towards B. They've got to do the damage. Sergey cannot. Yumpy hits a shot, but it's a leg. It's not a kill. He'll follow it up with a pistol, but he gets overwhelmed. That's the bomb site lost, planted. Tizian cannot secure that against an AUG. Really, wow. Thought he might be able to have it, but now there's a chance for the retake, friends. Yeah. And it's double ops to hold. So this is going to be a bit spicy. They're coming back up from tunnels. You need Searson with that clock in his head of when he's going to turn to focus in, because right now I believe he's exposed to the angle. No, he is tucked. So he should be all right. But they're going to come this way. They're going to pressure him. And Townsend's going to be reliant on the first shot. He's got it. But now close up is Searson. Searson misses. That's going to be the retake done. ENCE have succeeded. That was a dire situation. I think they got a bit fortunate on a couple of those kills, but whatever it is, they'll take it. They'll take the round.
Yeah, I think that extra bit of P2000 damage that even was done towards Tabson there was just fantastic on the whole. Great work, and I mean, I'm starting to believe a little bit. ENCE are looking like a completely different team since they switched over to the CT side, and that's still with Sergey not really doing all that much, if we're being honest. He's 3-13 right now. I'd like to see him definitely stepping up over these next few rounds, and maybe with that, ENCE could indeed start taking themselves right back into this. The pause, though, at the moment, a little bit of a chaff from Big. They do have enough money to buy in, but they'll be a bit more limited rather than they would want to be. The op probably won't be available just because, yeah, I mean, Searson doesn't have enough himself. The other players, the ones who do have enough for it, rather, would only be looking at a glass cannon, so probably not going to happen, and it's looking like they'll just even drop over a scout to him. Is it the half investment, I guess? Go for what they can afford, leave a little bit in the reserve then, so they'll be able to get a decent buy in the next round. And it makes sense with the loss bonus going, especially if they can get a bomb plant, then they won't have any issues in the following. But again, it gives them the chance to keep on pressuring towards ENCE right now. Don't let them get too comfortable. Try and keep that money low, so that once Big do pick up one round, or if they do pick up one round at least, that is, then you would see ENCE maybe struggling money-wise. Well, here we go, early long control. That's a pretty good find. Able to just get Keto out based on the spawn. He is the only AK they have to work with, though, so I'd like to see that being somewhere where he can maybe work some entries.
Trying to control out towards the dumpster. That's a little bit of space gained at the very least. Sunny's now watching it. You've got Alu responsible for this patrol. Sunny is well in support. So it's just the one player who's going to try and make a move there. There's the spot. There's the check. It's not going to be the kill. There is said kill. Does come through. So Keto drop, no chance to really do anything. They're just going to try and pressure in towards B, and here comes the pressure, but it's not really much going to matter. Yumpy does get one. Tabson, 2 in towards mid. That might allow the space for the bomb plant, but he's got to do it quick if he's going to do it. 3 HP, so we'll swap to the AWP. Hoping just hit one shot and do some damage. His window of opportunity to get that bomb down to dirt, it's done. It's over. He just wants to do a bit more damage as they come through. And they're not going to just yet. Molly's in. There's a player in tunnel. There's players outside the doors on him. He might burn Alu. Oh, Alu does not escape. The flames find him. Looking for another shot is Tabson. Misses it, though, and that would be the only opportunity afforded to him. 9 rounds for ENCE. What a ridiculous run back. 7 rounds in a row to start off this half, and Big have just been getting blanked.
Yeah, what the hell has happened? I think even Tabson has only added a couple kills. Sirison maybe 1 or 2, and both of those players were looking so fantastic on the first half. The whole scenario is just kind of flipped on its head. ENCE looking like they could even reach double digits pretty soon. But yeah, another gun round that he's going to be in from Big. Obviously, loss bonus. It's going to keep on feeding their buys, especially if they get bomb plants or if they retain some money. But yeah, seriously, he gets a little bit of a surprise there. Tried to take a peek in towards middle, saw 2 uppers peek at him, and got his head immediately ripped off by Yampy. So yeah, not a fantastic start here for Big once again. Losing a player rather very early on. And that allows ENCE again to sit pretty comfortably back on the bomb sites, as Big are the ones to feel the pressure and trying to actually pull something back into the round for themselves. It's looking like they do want to try and work around long. Unfortunately, though, there is 2 players in position. The op back on the corner in the hands of Alu, and then up close on the corner, playing anti-flash, you see Aerial. So this is going to be a tough push indeed for Big, but no, actually the optic initially comes in favor of Tabson. Aerial only going to be able to get 1, and now they've got long control and a 3-on-3. This is as good as it really could have worked out for Big.
Yeah. This is quite huge, actually, considering how strong that setup was. It's one of the strongest long setups we've seen deployed by either squad. To be in this circumstance, to be in this situation is a boon. This kill in towards mid, if Santeras can find it. Nope, never mind. Sergey takes it. The young stud having reinforced himself in this half, and that makes it very difficult indeed for his teammates to get through. Tizian will eat a nade, full face. Take him down for a bad health. He's blinded here. He's hiding behind the car. He will at least take out Yumpy to keep that economic pressure up, but at this point, that's not enough. We need to see more. Tizian gonna hop up, and he nearly gets it on Sunny. If that was Sergey, Sergey's dead, as he was already at half. But unfortunately for him, it is the full health Finn. Sunny to take it, who is currently topping the board for his squad as well. Only pulling 17 to 17, but they are dragging this back. They're now within 3 rounds of the tied scoreline. This was not even a possibility in our brains as we hit the half switch. It just looked like ENCE were completely outclassed, but apparently they turned it off and turned it back on again because they've hit the full reset mentally. They are in this match.
Yeah, I mean, 3 rounds in the difference. I didn't think we'd see that apart from when it was 3-0 for Big, not gonna lie. But but yeah, it's looking like it should even be 11 because there's really not much for Big to work with in this one. And even then, that doesn't really seem to deter ENCE from going aggressive. They're hitting Big with a similar enough style to what we've seen from Big back on their CT, where you just never let your opponent get comfortable. You never let them early on in the round set up for what they want to do. And that keeps on being the case here for Big. They've at least still got their nades right now. Looking like they want to try and bring it on to B. A little bit of noise being made around mid initially, I guess, to try and keep someone's focus around that area. But as you can see, both of the B defenders pretty heavily focused on tunnels, and it's just not going to be an issue. Mowed down by Yampy and Sergey, rather. I joined their names together. Jesus. But yeah, 2 rounds now in the difference.
Is that their couple name?
It's their couple name. Yeah, I should have. Another pause for Big. Not surprising. This is the gun round that could tie things up for ENCE.
It makes sense. Yeah, you got to get it going here. I mean, we have to look at it as well. If we're just looking at the kill totals, Tabson's at 29, next closest player's at 16. The engine is still going, but the other pieces of the car appear to be falling off at this point. And that's problematic. Can't have that happen here. Cannot have that happen. They've let them so far back into this game, and with that round coming through clean, even the economic pressure they've been applying through the first few gun rounds that have been lost is gone. It doesn't matter anymore. Alu's got 7,500 in the bank. Everybody's above 3K, most above 5K. There's plenty of cash available to rebuy should the pressure come in. ENCE have bought themselves at least one extra round, if not two, should things go awry, and we just haven't seen that since the half switch. So, I mean, for goodness sake, Dean, it's been 9 rounds in a row for ENCE with nothing from big. A couple rounds where they brought it to a 2v2, maybe. But even in those, ENCE have really quickly reestablished control. So, brutal scenario for the German squad.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that we'd be able to see ENCE come through with maybe an even stronger CT side of their own after what we've seen there from big. But yeah, I mean, it's happening and everyone's been contributing. That's something that's important. Sergey still maybe struggling a small bit, but elsewhere on the board, all those fragments very, very close to each other indeed. As Uriel continues on, he's going to find the head jumping up on the Xbox. The Molotov had Tizian screwed either way. And with that, a man advantage again goes towards ENCE. This time, not quite as early. There is a minute remaining on the clock this time, so there's enough time for Big still to try and make something happen, but they've been struggling in the 5-on-5s, so every single time they get put down into this 4-on-5, it doesn't really get your hopes any higher. This nade, I think, is going to be perfectly timed as well. Will it do damage? Yeah, indeed, right at the feet of 3 of them. Oh, that is heartbreaking. There's still a molly as well. It's going to be put down now. I thought maybe it could have been conserved a little bit longer for when the actual push came in. Speaking of pushes, though, over on B, we see that exactly happening. Who was it that went in? It was Sunny, I believe, that got flashed in. Didn't want to force the issue, which I like, because they know they have a man advantage. They don't really need to. He had just found them quite a bit of info, but he's gone back for it. He wants more.
Oh, timing's going to be brutal here for Zantares. He's going to win it. Gets that smoke away quick enough. Could have been very tricky, very cheeky indeed. Look at this. Speaking of cheeky, Ariel's just standing in the smoke. He's only going to get one. A little bit awkward to flick around sometimes with that silenced M4. Sergey! It's a bit sloppy, but it still comes out with kills, but they don't have time. He's won the round for them.
Oh.
And, oh no!
What?
Oh, almost looked like, I don't know where that bullet went. I don't know where that bullet went. It disappeared into the nether realm.
Unlucky, Seriously. He's really like, what the hell? Why did that not kill him? It was done anyway. I mean, they weren't winning, but that was just really weird. Oh my god, no. Yeah, I don't know what to say. That was just ridiculous. Honestly, I thought they were gonna have an opening back in after Sunny pushed in through B. It looked like they maybe could have went back quickly through mid with the short players as well, but no. I mean, it took them too long. They ended up getting caught, of course, by a player up close around the smoke. The bomb then, as soon as it gets dropped, as it's pushing out through the tunnels, it was just done. I think there was 4 seconds left. It just wasn't possible. It's heartbreaking right now if you're a big fan. This game is really slipping away from them. It could potentially be tied up even now. I mean, we've seen a buy kind of in right now. There's 2 players, who won't have enough to get the full investment in the next round unless they're actually able to get the bomb down. So they will be kind of relying on at least getting that planned.
Now this is interesting. Here's an opportunity for them. Look at how light the presence is towards A long. It's just Sunny checking from back at the cross. If he gets spotted and Dome, he's just going to be playing with the smoke to drop it and buy some time for his teammates. But this could be interesting. There's the run boost over. He's got the spot, though. No shot popped off, and that was what they needed. Now he's got information. A smoke's going to come out to allow a little bit of a transition here. Presumably his teammates come back in. He's actually... Is he going to go bold, or is he just going to walk up the ramp? No, he's going to play bold on the edge of the smoke. This could be spicy. Big, though. They had an opportunity. They've given it up. They've given up the space. Zantares now could get pressure. There's a player coming out lower. Zantares is going to peek it, though. That's a big kill. That's the only player towards B. So this is read well. Alu can't deny. They're going to get past him. They're going to get into the tunnels. That's going to be a B-bomb site take. Yampi's just transitioning now, so they know there will be 1 player on, but it's just Yampi. Yampi comes out the window. Yampi, rebuffed. Is he going to hit the shot? No. That was a really tough angle to come back into, and he can get nothing out of it. So this is finally going to be a round for Big. Almost certainly, especially as Tizian gets that kill in towards lower. This is insane. They've let ENCE get back within 1 round, 10 rounds in a row for the Finnish squad, but now they're just at the goal line of tying this game up. And this is where they stumble. Really nice adjustment from Big. Off of that long pressure, they knew the rotation would come in, and that's when they punish over towards B. And they get out of it clean.
Yeah, surprisingly so. I mean, that was a quick turnaround. A big momentum shift as well from all of those previous rounds that we had seen. But ENCE, they were still trying to get a couple exits and such just because they had enough money to buy back in. But even then, after this reinvestment, after all the nades and the ops come out there onto both Yampi and Alu, they do not have much left at all, which means this win, this round rather is a must-win. Otherwise, Big are probably going to be taking themselves the victory because in the fight for an overtime, ENCE would have very little. So this is so crucial for them to try and get back into it. Sonny going to be able to
What an insane narrative of they do win probability sometimes where it's in individual rounds. What was your statistical percentage of being able to win this? I want to see the heat map for this map because it's craziness right now. Now there's going to be the long hold. Sonny gets one. He needs more. He needs to get more. Pressure's coming in, and he will be taken out by the nade. So an even exchange here for Big is about as good as they could hope. But Alu's come to patrol. Unfortunately, he misses the shot. Jumpy is there for the second, but he can't get it done. The flashbang doesn't connect, and now it's all on Sergey. The man who had a very rough first half now has to be the god to secure them the second, to keep them in the fight. He's got to go for this. I don't think there's any way you could justify saving. Gonna play tight to the smoke. Wants to go for the jump up play, but they're guarded. And that gives an audio cue over. They got the indicator. He's gonna pop his way through, but Zanteras has him, and that's map point for Big. What on earth? 10 rounds in a row in this half for ENCE. Not enough to get them to the line. And now they're facing down 3 more that they need, and it has to start here with a broken buy, with a partial, with scouts and deagles and sticks and stones and dirt from down by the riverbank.
I mean, they have a few nades. I'm trying to find some positives here. At least that could help them out a bit. But they also do lack a defuse. So if it comes to a retake, they're going to be in trouble. But Alu, that's a little bit of revenge for what we've seen actually from Sirison with the scout early on as he goes for more. Hungry as he pushes into the lower tunnels. A second scout kill. He does have a teammate who attempts to follow up that aggression, though. And yeah, not going to quite be finding the same success right there for Sergey as he goes through the tunnels. I would have preferred if they didn't attempt that. If they just kept themselves the 5-on-3. I understand why he'd be going in. You would expect maybe that player then immediately going to shift his attention back to the lower tunnels. Just because Alu would, of course, kill the player there. But, yeah, I mean, there was 2 of them around here. It's being covered off. And when you have those weaker weapons as well, the 5-on-3, that's when you're feeling comfortable. This 4-on-3 right now is still pretty easily recoverable for Big. Oh, okay. Maybe Alu is still going to make sure that doesn't happen.
He's just too good. It's like an op. He's just moving it around the map, and it's working out for him. Pressure could still be on, but Alu, why not? A 4K. He's looking for the ace. Tabson is here. It's going to be op on scout action, and that's what it's going to come down to. Alu chasing it, wants the tag. Knows he's up against the duel. Tabson's going to try and chase him down, and Tabson will deny the ace, at the very least. But what's he going to do now? If he plants here towards B, he might actually get pressured. The big brain play here, the 1,000 brain galaxy IQ play, is to go to A, and that's what he's gonna do. Is he gonna get flanked in time though? He is. No, he gets away. How do they allow him? Ooh, that was way too dangerous. Ariel almost gave that up. That shot from Tabson, frankly, that last one should have hit. But ENCE, they survive. They're in it. They're still in the fight. It's only going to be a shoestring by once more, but they've at least survived, and it's off the back of a 4K from Alu with the scout.
An absolutely ridiculous 4K with the scout, to be exact. Oh, kind of sad he wasn't able to get the ace. just for the sake of it.
He deserved it.
Yeah. With those shots, he definitely did deserve it. But they got the round. That's the main thing. I'm sure Alu isn't too angry. He's gonna actually be on the M4 now in this round, as it's just rifles across the board. No scopes this time. Even then, Sonny being relegated down to a FAMAS so that they can have the extra few nades. So yeah, there's still a pretty tough round here ahead of ENCE. If they get this one, though, at that point, then the economy of Big is going to be broken down, and that's when overtime begins to look extremely likely. This is really the last full gun round here for Big in trying to actually close this one out.
Long control's been given up. We saw this come back to bite them the last time they did it. Although the biggest issue is when they then attempted to reestablish control. Here's the run boost. We've seen this from Searson. Going to realize that that sight line is completely clear. It's a crunching towards mid, which means no one's on site. Nobody is here with the responsibility. They're just now going to be moving Alu back to check it, but he doesn't have the AWP. He doesn't even have the scout. He's trying to make this happen with an M4 without a scope on his gun. Let's see if he can do so. No, he's going to have to back off. It's a full 5-on-5 retake. Big have taken the bomb site. They're going to have the plant. They have firm long control as well. Searson's still looking towards site. Man needs to be watching the long doors, but he's got Zantares to do that for him. Why would you bother when you've got the Terminator to lock it down? A second kill. Numbers out of whack in support of Big. Big kill for Alu to even up the numbers, and a second as well. This man's doing it again. He's doing everything for his team. Leaves Tizian alone. Alu coming alive here at the tail end of the game, and Yumpy will be able to see through the final. Another huge multi-kill from Alu to keep them in the game. They had no business being back in that round. That setup towards zone should have been the shutdown, if not from Zantares, then from the trade. But it does not work out for Big, and everything they built topples down all off of the back of this man, Alu.
Yeah, he's been insane. I mean, we even mentioned it back in the first half. He was the only man in the early rounds who was even managing to frag. We did know, obviously, we put a little asterisk beside it that, unfortunately, most of the time it was when everyone else was dead, so it wasn't really giving them too much. But no, here on the second half, he's just been fantastic from round start to end, no matter what weapon he has in his hands. And we're seeing him back on the up now, Mike. I want to see what he's going to do with this after giving the Scout and the M4 a go in the last couple of rounds. I mean, it's not as bad for Big as we thought it was going to be. They do have some loss bonus going and such, of course. So, get together and up, mostly a solid enough investment, just being relegated down to 2 kills so that they can actually get some nades. As Alu pays the price for the peak this time, Sirison, realizing Alu is feeling hot, maybe expecting them to be taking some more of those risky peaks, he was very patient with that mid hold, and it pays off.
Now, here's the question. Is the rest of his team, can they bring him over? Because it's been Alu carrying them through these last few rounds. Now they need someone else to step up. Ariel's going to do so. He's got the first, but he's blinded up. Has to back out, and look at his health. A nade in would end him. Instead, it's going to be a Molotov, and he's feeling the pressure, but Sunny's come to relieve it. As I say that, Sunny doesn't make it much longer. This is very awkward indeed. Eventually, Ariel will go down, so advantage once more to Big, and they've got 55 seconds to play with as well. Sergey has to hold the line from site. He's got Yumpy coming in to support, but they're both down. They'll boost one up to the elevator, take some control back towards the platform. Big do not have to commit to this, but they've got no information elsewhere, so they definitely want to. They've worked the player in pit. That's Keto with the AWP. So this is going to be the huge duel, but you've got the suspicion in the back of your mind if you're ENCE that a player might be creeping up cap, might be creeping in mid, and indeed, they're not. They're all coming long. It's a one front hit as they start to creep up, and here's going to be the smokes to afford the cross. All pressure on Sergey. His teammates gone off to check the other site. That means this man is on an island. He had a big old spotlight him in the first half without being able to get a kill. Now he's got a chance to defend his team's honor, but no. A leg shot and nothing more. All on Yumpy now. The newest recruit to the squad. He's got to do it all. He's got to be the man with the plan. Coming in against 3 with a crossfire setup. And Tizian already going looking for him. Tizian will be fodder for the slaughter. It's now all on Yumpy. Going for the jump up, trying to check the one, but it's the insurance policy in Keto he's got to be most scared of. As soon as he clears it, as soon as he crosses it, he could be dead, and he goes for the jump shot, but Zantares has the better of him, 16-14.